Hey guys, this is your boy Mr. DJ. Who knows? I want to make a quick recap here. Okay, about Floyd Mayweather versus Ben Pacquiao, right? Many people were so fed up and tired, sick and tired of Flomos, Pactas. Everybody was talking about this fight. There are people rooting for their fighter and stuff like that. Until we got to a point where the fight was made, and we said whoever their fighter loses, they must disappear. There will be no excuses. We agreed on that. There will be no excuses. There will be no more noise. There will be no more trash talk. All that stuff supposedly was gone after the fight, right? Now what we're hearing is okay, we know Floyd outboxed Manny Pacquiao easy, 10 rounds to 2, straightforward. I mean, one of the scorecards uh, was like that, which I think it was correct. The most correct one was that scorecard. Now, if that was everybody thinking that then the Pactards will be gone because their guy lost. If Floyd had lost, the Flomons will be gone. There will be no excuses made. But we were all wrong. The Pactards are here to stay, right? Firstly, they're bitching about a robbery, which I think Freddie Roach Freddie Roach is actually a very clever guy. Freddie Roach, he knows how people think. He knows how emotional. I mean, you get flowmos, uh, pactas. Those people, they follow whatever their guy is saying. I'm not sure what was going to happen if Manny Pacquiao didn't complain about the scorecards. If he just complained about the injury, they will be running by about the injury. He was injured. But now, because he started by complaining about the scorecards, he got robbed. Now they're running with that. Yeah, Manny was robbed. Manny was robbed. I mean, okay, Manny also complained about Floyd's movement. Floyd was moving a lot. That's why I couldn't throw as many punches. That's what he said when Max Kellerman asked him in the post-fight interview. He said, Floyd, it's difficult to throw punches when a guy is moving. Pactas are running with that as well. Floyd was running the whole night. Guys, we agreed there will be no excuses. I thought we agreed there will be no excuses after the fight. If your guy lost, lost. Take it and shove it. Live with it. Move on. Accept your guy lost. Even these two guys, we all know there was not even a rematch clause. That means it shows how confident these guys were on winning the fight, both of them. There's no rematch clause in the what you call in the agreement. There was no rematch clause. So stop with the excuses. Your guy lost. Everybody knows that he lost. We agreed before the fight there will be no excuses. If a guy lost, lost, right? You can't tell me that was a robbery. There's no way. I mean, the guy won like 2 rounds in the whole fight. The guy was injured. I mean, why did he go there injured? That means if he went there injured, he was already looking for an excuse. Because if he was really injured, as they say, 4 weeks before the fight, and that sounds like a serious injury, you cannot take the chance. You can't tell me he thought he was going to win with that injury. If that's the case, if he thought he was going to win with the injury, then it's his fault. You can't complain about it. You knew you had an injury. You thought you were going to win and you lost. You can't blame it. It's your fault. You cannot make an excuse. You agreed to fight while you knew you were injured. Now you turn around, you were injured, you lost because you were injured. No, you lost because you thought you were going to win with the injury. That's your fault. People didn't know that. It only comes now that you lost. It sounds like an excuse to me. I don't care if it's true or not, but if it's true, just say it's true. Manny Pacquiao went to the fight injured. That means he thought he was going to win with an injury. So he cannot blame it to anyone. He was not forced. He knew he was injured and he thought he was going to win and he didn't win. That makes it his fault. You cannot blame to anyone. It's your fault. It's not an excuse. It's not an acceptable excuse. You lost the fight. Take the loss and move on. I know many people, actually, the guys like Ego, even now they're talking about this. Many should take the defeat more professionally and stuff. Manny Pacquiao got his ass knocked out by JMM, and he didn't even congratulate Marquez. He didn't do that. He made excuses right there. You know what he said? He said, yeah, he knocked me out because I got careless. I was all over him and then I got careless. He caught me with that punch. His fans were saying, yes, that was a lucky punch. Pacquiao was about to finish him. That was a lucky punch. Right? Even with this fight, if Manny Pacquiao didn't even say he wants a rematch, because if you got robbed, look at Maidana. Maidana in the first fight believed he won the fight. When the scorecards were announced against him, he said he has to give me a rematch because I won. And they went on, and Floyd said if you want the rematch, he said if fans want it, I'll give it to him. And he finally gave it to him. Immediate rematch. Manny Pacquiao has never done an immediate rematch, which doesn't make sense. Like every other thing about Manny Pacquiao doesn't make sense. Why? He's got so many rematches, but none of them was immediate. Ask yourself why. Because if the fight was controversial, there has to be there has to be an immediate rematch. If there's no immediate rematch, then no rematch at all, because lots of things happened between that time, right? So Manny Pacquiao must take the loss and move on. He's never all the fights he lost. You can even go back to the Morales fight. He got beat in that fight. He didn't complain about the ref. He didn't say he thought he won the fight, but he said he was drug tested, I think a day before the fight or the day of the fight, something like that. That's what he said. He never accepts defeat professionally. That's how he is. When he was robbed against Bradley, even then he didn't accept it. He said he won the fight. Do you want a rematch? No, I don't want a rematch because I won the fight. There's nothing to prove. How do you not want a rematch when you got robbed? That doesn't make sense to me, because if you really believe that you won the fight, then you should want a rematch to prove that you really won the fight. Just like Floyd. If there's any complaints about the scorecards, Floyd always is there to give a rematch immediately. That's what he does. If you're not going to make it immediately, that's questionable. Why not? Because you thought you won the fight. Why don't you want to fight the guy immediately? What are you waiting for? So, I don't know. In my personal opinion, like I said, Manny Pacquiao lost the fight flat and square. But the problem is he's never accepted the defeat in his life. He's always coming up with excuses once he loses the fight. Like I've just mentioned, the last 4 fights that he lost, he never accepted any of those defeats. He's coming with excuses in all 4 of them. So let's just, I think we must just live with it. And whatever he says, his fans run with it. That's what they do. Manny Pacquiao complained first about the scorecards in the fight against Floyd Mayweather. They're running with that. No, he got robbed. He won the fight. And then in the press conference, he says his shoulder was injured. They're running with that. Floyd couldn't even beat this guy while he was injured. Right? That's another excuse. What else? I've heard some are complaining about the blood testing. They say he was blood sucked. They sucked blood out of him. That's an old excuse that he came up with when he didn't to take a blood test in 2010, which was not even valid excuse because he's ready now. 2015, he's ready to go through that. He was just stacking the fight at the time because Floyd was still on his prime. He knew. Now, when Floyd actually slowed down significantly, everybody saw against Maidana, both fights, Floyd didn't look good. Then they are ready. I mean, Freddie Roach is is a very honest guy, to be honest with you. His matchmaking skills, he's displaying them for people to see. Every fighter that they fight, every fighter that they choose to fight, Freddie Roach have seen something from that guy. Example, Floyd Mayweather. Freddie Roach said it more than once. Even after the first fight with Maidana, Freddie Roach said he wants a rematch with Miguel Cotto because Floyd is short. Floyd can no longer move around. That's what Freddie Roach said. That tells you this is what it's interesting because this is what people like even Oscar De La Hoya, they're accusing Floyd of waiting for guys to slow down. They say Oscar said Floyd must have seen something from Manny. That's why he's fighting Manny. But he didn't say what was it. Here's on record. Freddie Roach said it last year. He said it again sometime in November before Pacquiao Algier fight. He said it again after this fight was made. Floyd is short. He can no longer use his legs. That's why they were confident. That's why they actually took the fight. They took now the drug test. They took now the less money that. Remember, in 2010, they didn't want to take the blood testing, right? And then in 2012, they didn't want to take less money. In 2015, they are ready to take blood test. They are ready to take less money. Because, why? Because Floyd is short. They think he can no longer use his legs, but they were wrong. Floyd can use his legs. He didn't use his legs against Maidana that much because he didn't have to. He didn't use his legs against Alvarez because he didn't have to. He didn't use his legs that much against Miguel Cotto because he didn't have to. I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Miguel Cotto. He went toe-to-toe with Maidana. He went toe-to-toe with Alvarez. That's what Floyd did. Now, these guys, they thought Floyd can no longer use his leg. He didn't do that because these fights were easier for him. These guys were flat-footed, and if he was going to have to use his legs, I mean, it would have been wider, even more boring. You understand? More boring than Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. It's boring. And actually, the fight was not boring, but to the casual fans, it was very boring because they don't understand. They don't see the skills. They don't see all that. All they want to see blood. I mean, I've seen of them. I have seen comments like, we didn't see any blood. We just saw two old guys hugging each other. That's all they saw. They didn't see all the skills. Pacquiao made to miss. Pacquiao being counted. Pacquiao being timed. You know? Floyd timed him with that left hook. And it's exactly what I mean, it's one of the predictions what was going to happen in that fight. That left hook that Floyd hit Ricky Hatton with, and then Hatton went on to hit the corner there. I predicted that, and Floyd landed that punch all the time when Pacquiao was lunging in. Floyd will just wait there. Pacquiao lunges in, and then Floyd hook him with the left hook and get out of the way. It was happening all night. When Pacquiao lost the fight, he just doesn't have what it takes to beat Floyd. I mean, even Skip Bayless, he found out on Saturday that it was so difficult for Manny to beat Floyd. Manny Pacquiao is shorter than Floyd. Manny Pacquiao is a little bit smaller than Floyd. Manny Pacquiao has a shorter reach than Floyd's. Manny Pacquiao has even stylistically, Floyd's style is a kryptonite for Manny Pacquiao. Floyd moves, and Manny Pacquiao is very uncomfortable fighting a guy who's moving. He barely can throw punches. Secondly, Manny Pacquiao is unable to deal with counter punchers. Floyd is the best at counter punching. Manny Pacquiao cannot hit a guy with high guards. We saw it round 4. Manny Pacquiao hit Floyd. He caught him actually nicely, and Floyd was against the ropes. He caught him with a straight left, and Floyd moved, and he had to survive. He was on a survival mode against the ropes. All he did was to put both his guards up, just like Joshua Clottey did. Joshua Clottey did exactly that. Manny Pacquiao was completely unable to land against a guy doing that. So there's lots of flaws in Manny Pacquiao's style and skills. Floyd was just a very bad match for Manny Pacquiao. Even more so because of the physical advantages that Floyd has. So he must just take the loss, man, and move on. I don't want to see a rematch because it's gonna be same. If Floyd knocks Manny Pacquiao out in the rematch with one punch, they're gonna say it was a lucky punch. If Floyd knocks out Manny Pacquiao with a TKO, they're gonna say the ref stopped the fight so quick. If Freddie Roach throws the towel, they're gonna say Freddie Roach made a mistake. He shouldn't have thrown the towel. Pacquiao was still gonna come up and hit, The excuses will be there all the time. They've been making excuses all the time. Even with Marquez, like I said, Marquez knocked him out cold. He wants a rematch because he says he was careless. He got careless and then he was caught with that punch. His fans are saying that was a lucky punch. So there's no point. If we want to a rematch because we want to put away the excuses, we'll be wasting time. There's still gonna be excuses. Floyd can beat him again and make another easy money, but now he will have to give him 70-30. Manny Pacquiao must get 30%. He didn't bring it because the rematch won't even come close in terms of revenue. Because of Manny Pacquiao, he made the fight so boring because he had no answer to Mayweather's style. He had no answer whatsoever. I mean, he threw 429 punches, lousy 429 punches, and he's known as a volume puncher. In 2010, those 2 fights that he had against Joshua Clottey and Margarito, Manny Pacquiao threw around 1,200 punches per fight. This fight, he threw 429. He's so uncomfortable fighting a guy who's moving, a guy who's counter punching. So it was a very bad match stylistically. Really, it was. So I think they must just move on, man. Lost the fight. No excuses. We agreed before the fight there will be no excuses. So don't start, or we're not gonna take you seriously because even no matter what happens, there's gonna be excuses, man. I'm gonna leave it there. Sharp.